Hello everyone, I hope that this video finds you well. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different and I think a little bit cool. We're stepping away from our 8-deck bracket for just a moment. Unfortunately, my roommate and Corey, who'd be playing his blue-white deck, both got COVID last week. So we're waiting for everyone to get feeling better before we get together and actually film that final match. So today I'm recording this. It's the 7th of December. I'm planning to get that hopefully by mid-December, but at this point I'll probably settle for by Christmas. So anyway, what we're going to do is I've actually got some footage from a week or two ago, or maybe more, when my buddy Chris came over and we were just jamming games on a Sunday, and he was talking about his mono black rack deck, and we decided to record a few matches. So what we've got here is 4 matches. I think this will probably be split into 2 videos, and we're going to do what I'm calling a deck showcase. So kind of stepping outside of our bracket, this is a way for us to just focus on one deck and kind of run it through the gauntlet. I really wanted to pick a couple different decks that I think represent the format well and cover a wide variety of archetypes, right? Because we don't really want to know that 8-rack is good against control and just play it against 3 control decks. We want to do combo, aggro, etc. So I think the decks we've got lined up are blue-white control, Cascading Rhinos, which are both from our bracket. The third deck, Cephalid Breakfast, which is also from our bracket. And the fourth deck is one that I don't think we've had on camera before. It's a blue-red Hottie Gen, kind of Faithless Looting, Frantic Inventory, kind of spells graveyard deck. That's pretty cool. So that's what we're going to do. It should be broken up into 2 videos. And right now I just wanted to show you guys the deck list. Chris talks about it a little bit and kind of the idea behind the deck. But I wanted you guys to be able to see the list. I'll post it in the comments as well, and I'll just go over it really quickly. Look, it's 8-rack. There's kind of 3 elements to the list. There's discard spells to keep your opponent's hand low. There are the 8 racks, or I guess in this case 7, which are Shrieking Affliction and the rack. Oh, and Davriel, so really this is some odd number of racks. There's removal, a lot of edicts like Innocent Blood and Smallpox, and Bantu's Last Reckoning is a board wipe. There is one Nether Spirit. This card is interesting. I think it's good to play one of them. You can just discard it to a Smallpox and then you get a Nether Spirit. Kind of a nifty little way to get some free value. I will highlight, I think one of the most important cards is Raven's Crime. This makes it so that you just can't flood out, and once you see one Raven's Crime, you can save all your lands, or you can save all your lands till you find a Raven's Crime, and then when you do that, you can rip your opponent's hand apart. Plays nicely in addition to the Mishra's Factories to kind of help this deck from flooding, because this deck really makes everyone go to 0 cards in hand pretty fast, and then just tries to win through the recursive damage. Sideboard. So I will say, Dreams of Steel and Oil is new with Brothers War. I don't think this was in the deck when we filmed. I think the list changed at some point. I forgot to duplicate the deck, so I think Chris updated. No big deal. So this maybe not the exact sideboard. I think he goes over sideboarding. Do you think the Turoks are very interesting? I think that Chris has decided he prefers them as a sideboard option, just because if you're playing a Smallpox deck, it's not great to have main board creatures. But Turok has been pretty strong, and it is a pretty good chunk of the budget, so I do wonder if at some point they may move into the main. But anyway, I'm just going to get out of here and get us to the actual video, and I'll let Chris and Andrew do most of the talking. But, as we continue, let me know what you guys think of this format. I really want to use it as a way to showcase decks that people locally are working on, have a chance to get some other voices onto the channel, and kind of show off what they've been working on, right? Because it's cool. I like to see what people who aren't me are working on. So yeah, enjoy the first deck showcase with a mono black 8-rack. Alright, Chris, so this is your first time on the channel. What are you playing today?
Today I'm playing the rack, or mono black discard, whatever you want to call it. It really focuses on getting your opponent's hand down to as least amount of cards as possible. A couple edicts, a couple smallpox to disrupt your opponent in different ways. and obviously its payoffs are the Rack, the Shrieking Affliction, and Davriel, which all deal damage if your opponent has one or fewer cards. Differing wording, but all same effect. And I'm just trying to manage the game and grind it to a halt and hopefully win that way.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do today is we're going to give you a chance to show off this deck. I think we're going to kind of run you through the gauntlet, really. You're going to start out playing against Andrew on blue-white. That's Corey's list. And we're going to move through and try and just do as many matches in and just kind of see how you stack up against the field. So,
sounds great.
I don't know, with that in mind, let's just get into it, right?
Alrighty. So the first matchup is the Rack versus blue-white, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
I better pop this Code Zero. Not editing that out.
I think this hand is fine. I got a couple things that the deck likes to do early.
This hand is
A couple payoffs.
very bad against your deck.
You don't know that.
I think it's okay to know what we're on. It's like if you were at a small 8-person tournament, you'd know what you're playing.
I'm gonna mulligan that one knowing
Okay.
the deck. I would have kept it on the blind. I would not have kept it ever against you.
Yeah, there's a couple things you look for in this deck. Obviously, you want a couple lands. There are some cards in the deck that are more powerful than others, but usually you want to keep a hand with turn interaction with a good portion of lands and spells and a payoff. Sometimes you might keep a heavy removal hand against more creature-based decks if you do know what you're playing against, but it really depends. So your cards aren't all universally good. Sometimes you draw cards, draw some edicts against blue-white control, and it's not the best until maybe they play a Dream Trawler or something, but you just kind of have to hope your hands line up with your opponents.
Now, do you have any sudden edicts on the
Is good
75?
enough.
In the 75, I don't believe so. I mean, I have 8 main board edicts, so right now I do not have any sudden edicts. I just have the 8 edicts, and I play 2 Wraths main, 2 Wraths side.
Okay.
Alright, good with Hyrule?
Yep. Did you kept your 6th?
Yeah, go 6.
I will go first.
Alrighty.
Against popular belief that Rack always wants to go second, I'll go first. I want to play a Swamp. I will tap it to play an Inquisition of Kozilek.
Yep.
He reveals his hand and I take a card with mana value 3 or less.
You get 1 card.
Okay. Yep, we will take the 1 card we can. There you go.
I will play that and pass.
Alright, on tap, I'll draw a card. Do that. I will play a Swamp. I will play a Ravenscry. Target player discards a card, I will target you.
Okay.
Swords to Plowshares, and then I will play Blackmail. Reveal 3 cards to me, and I get to pick 1 to discard. I will choose Island.
Discard spells that hit lands, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
Guess we'll cash that in.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'll draw a card. It's not a bad one. I will cast a Hymn to Turok. He gets to discard 2 at random. I will choose these 2.
Dream Trawler Island.
Okay. And then I will Ravenscry
Or Azori's turn.
Retracing Ravenscry and discard this Swamp.
Yep.
I'll pass the turn.
That's it. That's magic. We like it.
Go ahead.
On tap, I will draw a card. Interesting. I'm going to play a Davriel,
That's unfortunate.
and I will not minus, and I'll pass. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards, they take 2. So, here you go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, playing against the Rack makes me sick to my stomach sometimes. I gotta say, it just...
I'm going to cast Smallpox. Each player loses a life, discards a card, and sacrifices a creature, and then sacks a land.
I'll counter it unless you pay 4.
It is countered.
It's a pretty good loose focus.
I'll pass turn. You
I'll
take
take
2.
Go ahead.
On tap. I will draw for turn. I think I'll just minus here to make you discard a card.
Cycle?
Sure.
Sure.
I will pass the turn.
Now, I remember one thing we talked about when we recorded for Blue White was that Corey's list is playing Sphinx's Wrath over the Delph cards. I wonder if having a dig and a treasure cruise, I mean, it probably helps this matchup, right? You want those more than you want Sphinx's Rev.
We will pass the turn.
Okay.
Like I said, I just want to hang out for a little bit.
Terrible gameplay. I don't know why we're putting this content on YouTube.
I'm really enjoying myself, if being honest. I will play a swamp and I will pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Go ahead.
I'll draw the card. I will cast a Smallpox.
I'll counter it unless you pay 6.
Okay, it is countered. I will minus Davriel.
Goodbye, island.
Pass the turn.
Go ahead.
Okay, I will draw the card. I'll minus.
Check.
I'll cast a Davriel and I'll cast a Russian Rack, which doesn't help the viewers at home.
That's great for my viewers. Thanks for coming on the show.
Go to my turn, I'll take 5.
Yes. So if you did not know, the rack at the beginning of your upkeep, you take 3 minus the amount of cards in your hand. Like that. I will draw a card. I will minus Davriel.
Yep.
And I'll pass the turn.
Alright, I'll die.
Yeah!
So, I mean, that seems kind of like the core gameplay mechanic of get the cards that matter out of the hand.
See, I think that, obviously, I know Corey's list, he doesn't play it. I think one of the cards I'm most scared of in like matchups like this is like Fact or Fiction. Like that card's terrifying because it usually just draws 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's real rough.
And again, just having a treasure cruise to be able to rip is like pretty good. And also, I will say, towards the end of the game, you were sitting on a lot of Innocent Bloods and like other stack effects. I guess they do stack up, but it's like if you hit a bunch of those early on, then it's really rough. And I know Andrew didn't have either of his loose focuses in the early turns.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the matchup isn't quite as bad as we think.
But yeah, well, like, here's the thing, right? Is like I don't mind them like stacking up just because one of his main ways to win is Dream Trawler.
Yeah.
So like I have to assume once a Dream Trawler hits, the first one's probably going to get countered.
Right. So you kind of need to have like double Innocent Blood. I also think Jason, Architect of Thought, is kind of scary.
Many Factor Fictionless stick. It's not great, and I don't have many creatures to pressure it. So how do you sideboard?
Yeah, I think sideboarding face up is cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think talking through it.
So my sideboard I'm on right now is I have some creatures because I don't really have any main board other than my man lands. So a lot of the times people are going to board out their sideboard. I do have 2 proxies currently, which are Bantu's Last Reckonings. So my sideboard currently looks like this. In this matchup, I'm probably going to bring in the creatures because I assume, I could just be wrong, I assume Blue-White would trim down a little bit on the removal / wraths. Because like, it just doesn't make sense to keep it in unless I do have creatures on my board, which I'll adjust game 3 depending on what my Blue-White players are doing. Clings don't seem super important here. Bantus definitely don't seem important. Delirium Schemes is definitely a card I'm interested in just because, if he can just sit on a couple lands, it makes each player discard 3. And usually I don't mind not having cards in my hand. And obviously these dresses are great. Which is a lot of cards. We'll have to kind of go through and see if we actually want all of these. But I like cards I'm interested in and I go through and kind of pick what just doesn't want to be in the deck. Like, I definitely don't want this Cling. I potentially want to cut down on Innocent Bloods. Like, Smallpox is definitely the better Edict still.
Yeah.
I want all my things that kind of stick on the board and make him discard or deal him damage and kind of help me win the game, which I could trim on just since I am bringing so many threats. Definitely don't want these board wipes. He has very little creatures in his deck. Let's see here, which will bring in 10. Bring out the 1 Collective Brutality.
1 Collective Brutality is cool now.
Yeah, it's really good against the red decks.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that matchup looks like.
The red decks, yeah. I don't know yet. We haven't played it. I mean,
you still get to Smallpox them, and you get
they commit to the board pretty fast. So like, my clock's pretty quick against them as well as their clock being quick against me. It just kind of depends. Like, obviously, like a Bushwhacker list would be a lot more effective to me than like a maybe the Bliss lists don't run very many creatures, but they do just cast their bolts every turn. So maybe that gets hard for me. Why am I missing my last freaking edict?
I guess I can start talking about my side. It really just kind of starts off with bring out removal spells. I think the shatters are more likely to be like auto removals. The kind of instant speed ones are a little bit more interesting because I do know that he runs Mishra's Factories in the deck. I do know that he runs Ravenman in the side. So these are kind of on the chopping block, and most will probably come out, but maybe not all of them. And it just kind of depends on what I do want to bring out versus in. And then also stuff like Dress Down and Containment Priest, which are somewhat mediocre. I say that as I also may potentially even bring in more Containment Priests, purely because they are a flash threat that gets around discard spells and can pressure stuff like Davriel. And if he does start to bring out like stuff like Edicts and Board Wipes, like maybe I can just write a Containment Priest or two. So it really just kind of comes down to what I want to board out versus what I want to board in. And none of these are really super amazing. I think the Detention Sphere, the Council's Judgment are nice to start trimming on to try and answer some of the permanents that he gets on board. Rune Talos for the same thing. I can name any of the pieces, and I think it does work against every single one of the...
Shrieking Affliction is loss of life, but against...
does it target, though, is the thing.
I don't need to... I'll double check for you, I'm not sure.
Huh, yeah, that's a good question. You need a judge on deck.
I mean, each opponent's upkeep,
Okay.
if that player's one.
Okay, so it can't hit Shrieking Affliction, but it can hit Davriel. It can't, yeah. So this is probably just definitely coming in. These are probably also coming in. The Baneslayer is life gain and also just a threat, so that's coming in. I think the negates are probably also coming in.
I agree.
And so then we're looking at 2 and then 4 of these cards.
You are bringing the Dress Down in?
I am bringing the Dress Down out, I think.
Okay, so yeah.
It does replace itself, but it also just does nothing.
Yeah, it's...
So I think that's probably
I
easy
do.
third.
I thought you were bringing it in.
I think I'm okay. Either, I guess these are probably the least flexible of the removal spells, so probably bring that out. And then that is 5.
Also,
So
my last two cuts
probably
were...
another.
Last two cuts were 2 Inquisitions because, I think some of the more important cards in this deck are above 3 mana, and I am on the draw, so they're not going to be as effective.
So I think I am going to cut the second swords for a Containment Priest just to have another body on the board.
I think that's cool. I think being able to pressure the Davriel is a smart idea that not every player would catch.
Yeah, there's both definitely decks that hope their opponents take out their board. Well, I guess they hope leave them in, but most likely you're bringing out the board wipes. I mean, the board wipes and the removal spells every time for the most part. It is kind of a juke because everyone knows, these two decks kind of run more bodies in the board, but it's okay, they bring them in this time, is it going to be next time? You never really know. Just kind of trying to make your opponent think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, it makes game 3 really interesting as well if we get to a game 3.
If. That's a big if right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the current version of blue-white looks like it's a little not favored. I do think there's some changes that could be made to, if this was something blue-white was worried about,
Yeah.
I think going to the delve spells would help. I think Blossoming Column is a pretty crazy sideboard card to have access to.
Extremely good.
Single white, you gain 2 life and get hexproof until end of turn, and it's got rebound. So it's a sideboard card against red because you can blank a lightning bolt and gain 4 life, which is just
Yeah.
And against this, gaining 4 life and blanking it into Turok is pretty crazy as well. So,
Yeah. I do actually like that a lot. And as I think it was Chris mentioned, Factor Fiction is just a really good card, and it would potentially slot into the same spot that Hieroglyphic Elimination is. It's just getting to 4 mana and being able to have it in hand against this deck is very hard.
Alright.
And I will be on the play.
Sounds good.
Although there is something to be said again about being on the draw.
As a player that's played Rack in modern, and obviously this format as well, I just don't think that's true. Maybe in some matchups, but being at mana ahead is such a big deal.
Yeah, I'll keep this.
It's kind of a slower hand, but against this deck, I think this is the things I want to do, so I'll keep this as well.
Okay. I will play a Celestial Colonnade and pass.
We'll draw a card. It's a good pickup there. I will play a Swamp, and I will pass the turn.
I will pass.
I will draw for turn. Interesting. I think we'll play this guy and see if he has a counter spell. I'll cast a Smallpox.
I'm going to Azorius Charm to draw a card.
Sure.
I am good to let that resolve.
Alright, so each player loses a life. We each discard a card, which I am going to discard. This is tough, actually. I guess. Actually, I'll discard this Mistress Factory. We both sack a land and a creature.
I'm going to discard that instead.
Alright.
Now, Chris, do you think that if you're playing Smallpox in this format, are you ever putting creatures in your deck, or are you just off that line?
You mean just like kind of take a different turn and be more of a creature-centric deck?
Yeah, like I've seen some people trying to play, what's that 3-drop Ward Witch that makes a spell when
Sedgemoor Witch.
Sedgemoor Witch.
Yeah, so like I've seen some like black mid-range decks with like Smallpox and Sedgemoor Witch, which is like kind of fine. You think that's acceptable, or is Smallpox for you just no creatures?
Me personally, I like having none main. Like I would consider one Nether Spirit, just
That was one of my
threat that
questions as well.
keeps coming back. But at the same time, I mean, I think there is another variation of this deck that plays like Turox and plays main Ward Ravenmans and plays Sedgemoor and maybe a couple Dark Rituals to kind of power them out. I went with no Dark Rituals in this deck just because I didn't want to have dead draws because it's already kind of a awkward deck to have blank draws in. So that was my choice on this. But I think there is a deck that does the other thing. I'm going to cast a Ravenman.
Sure.
Okay, I'll pass the turn.
Draw now.
Yeah, which the Ravenman says at the beginning of each end step, if a player discards a card this turn, make a 1/1 black bird creature that can't block and has flying. And I activate the ability of 3 and a black, tap each opponent discards card, activate only as a sorcery.
Go ahead.
So untap, I will draw for turn. Let's see here. We got open mana, just kind of doing this thing. I will. I'm going to use 2 Azorius Charms. So I don't know if I want to attack with Ravenman yet. We could have more of those. But it's probably safe. We're going to cast a spell first, I think. Interesting. I'm going to cast the Davriel.
I'll negate that.
Sure. Gives me freedom to get around a Azorius Charm. Now I'll attack him for 2. Go ahead.
Interesting. Let's play that while I can.
Mm-hmm.
In case you.
Lands in hand. Lands in hand. Cards in hand.
4.
Okay.
Let's chase.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go up.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Which means if a creature attacks him, they get -1 up.
Attacks me or whenever an opponent controls attacks.
Gets
-1.
-1 up.
Yep.
Sure. We'll draw a card. We will.
Against birds.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a Shrieking Affliction
Sure.
and a Delirium Scheme. Each player discards 3 cards.
Okay.
I'll discard a Swamp.
Baneslayer Angels, Swords of Plowshares, Snow-Covered Plains.
I'd like to hit Jace
Plain
for
regular
I hit
plains.
Jace for 1.
Yeah.
I'll pass the turn. I will make a bird. It is black and cannot block. You getting up here, you take 3.
I was gonna say that was a good turn to Delirium Schemes.
Yes, I
It
believe
was a
so.
very good turn to Delirium Schemes. Jeez. And we'll go back up.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for him going up. It means he's not drawing cards, and this Shrieking Affliction is going to slowly kill him, ideally.
Yeah, I think my only way out is to get enough mana to start blocking with a Colonnade.
Okay. We're going to try to not have that happen. We're in a Smallpox.
Sure.
We each lose a life.
I like that sometimes Smallpox is kind of just a land destruction spell, and it's fine.
But you do not have a card that you do not discard. So I'm going to attack.
Chris, you can just sack your bird, right?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. It's not too much anyway, but...
I guess we'll keep him at bay. We'll attack him for 1.
Okay.
I'll pass the turn. You take 3.
Let's go back up.
Yeah, I think keeping him at 4 where you can't minus and keep it alive to a Raven is important. Untap, we will draw. We'll cast a Hymn to Turok.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets the hieroglyphic.
Oh, I see. Okay, and we will attack him for 1.
Okay.
In step, I will make a 1/1.
Alright.
Go to you take 3.
Plus.
Another thing that's very important in this game is obviously like this card is usually lights out for me. Not necessarily like all the way lights out, but when I don't have creatures, it just takes over the game. And obviously, this was a very good game for me to draw Raven Man. He has no cards in hand. Yeah, we'll attack him for 1.
Okay.
I'll pass the turn. Take 3.
Alright, I'm going to scry on your end step.
Sure.
Both bottom. Go to my turn?
Yep. I guess one of the best draws here could be a second Jace.
I'll be honest, I see a path out for Andrew.
He's
I'm going to
definitely
minus.
lost. Yep.
Yeah. He could assemble... Oh.
That's interesting. Broomtail does not stop, so I don't really care about that, but D-Sphere does. So we'll go those 2 for 1.
I think I have to take that.
Yep.
I mean, get above cards technically. So let's see here. If I take this, hold up.
Yeah, so as long as you have 2 cards in hand, you can inflict you won't do any damage.
I think if
But it's also at the point now where I have 3 power in play and you're at 4.
yeah. Yeah, I think I kind of have to take that.
Okay, and then just get shuffled on the bottom, right?
In any order, guess we'll do that.
Okay.
What's the tension sphere?
Yeah, sure. Target?
That.
Yeah, there you go. It's yours for now.
Go ahead.
Oh,
If you can destroy an enchantment in black, I'll be impressed.
Feed Swarm! No, I'm just playing.
Sure, forgot about that card.
The future of Magic's different.
We'll play Swamp. We'll blackmail you.
Sure. You get a Narset.
Sweet. I will 2, 1 at you.
Okay.
Here you go. Oh, I'm sorry, I get a 1.
Yeah, I'm dead. Oh, wait, I guess technically.
We've colonnaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we still got a game.
What's that? Draw. Oh, we'll play this.
Yeah, I'm very dead.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so I attack, he blocks 2 of it, takes 2, and he loses to Davri on his upkeep.
Yeah. There is something to be said about maybe minusing Jace right off the bat, but it's, I mean, or at least
It just
earlier.
blocks you so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Like,
time.
I think your best draw was second Jace, so you can minus and replay Jace stuff
then-
plus.
Yeah. Man, that's a hard one.
Yeah, that was a sweat. It didn't really look like you had a shot, but man. The Delirium scheme seemed like the critical turn.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, like maybe if it was a him, I could have kept a card and dug myself out of that. But yeah, I mean,
Which obviously it helped too that I had 1 card in hand, so it was a way bigger swing against you than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to play one more, or do we want to just call it that?
I say let's just keep on moving. I think there's a lot of matchups that I think we want to see, so let's just keep on getting them in today.
Awesome.
I'll be bored.
Alrighty, so that looked tough to be on this side of the table.
It was not super fun.
It never is it?
I think Tides might turn at this matchup, though.
Man, I hope so, because we're how many videos deep and I haven't won on camera yet?
I'm undefeated.
You are. I'm really curious.
was.
Yeah.
There's a new champ in town.
Hey, it's Chris season, baby.
Yeah.
We got the new plans to show it and everything.
So what are you playing this time, Russell?
So this time I'm bringing back the Cascading Rhinos list, which I think you might be familiar with.
I've played it a time or 2.
Yeah, I believe you might have been the guy who put it together. I like it, man. I think this deck is really good.
I do too. I think it can be very explosive. A lot of haste threats, a lot of power out of nowhere, a lot of threats that a lot of cards you cast and they have to deal with it and lose the game. Which is real problematic for your opponent. And with this matchup, it's gonna be hard for me. I have edicts, and you make a 2/2 and 2 4/4s pretty consistently on turn 2 or 3, and that just might be too much to overcome. Which I do have a couple board wipes main, a couple on the board. So I'm not just dead, and I could, Inquisition your Shardless Agents, but all your threats are pretty big and kind of hard, either hard to deal with or have haste, or peck in for damage.
Yeah, and even, kind of the worst thing this deck can do is, the lamest thing it can do is Bloodbraid into a Simian Spirit Guide. And I gotta be honest, that sounds fine in this matchup.
Yeah, I take 3 and I have 5 power in play.
If I can get to 4 mana in Bloodbraid.
It's just fine.
I guess we should roll for first, right?
Sure. 4. Yeah, first. This hand's medium. It's not bad, so I'm gonna try this one.
I don't think I can keep this. I'm gonna... Man, mulliganing against you's terrible, though. I'm on the draw.
I'm all for you, Mulligan.
Man, it's really tough.
You get an extra card, you're on the draw.
I'm gonna send it back. We can talk about it. It's Spirit Guide, Hieroglyphic, Land, Shardless, Incubation, Bone Crusher, Bloodbraid. My fear here is I don't have blue to cantrip this, and I'm on single mana source, and even another Simian Spirit Guide doesn't let me Shardless.
Yep.
And if you even think about the word Smallpox, I could just be out of that game.
Yeah, I don't think you will know.
Alright.
That's tough though.
It looked kind of.
If that was a blue land, I think I would have kept it.
Yeah, if I had an additional cycle, I would have felt a little bit better.
Especially on the draw. I think if that was a blue land, I'd kept that hand for sure.
And Incubation Incongruity, the incubation side, it only gets creatures?
Yeah, look at the top 5, get a creature.
No. Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought you were talking about that.
I was going to say, because if it gets a land, then you have
that
to
card is nuts if it gets lands.
I will say, there is Adventurous Impulse, single green. You look at the top 3 and you get a land or a creature.
Yeah, but we don't want to cascade into that with our Shardless Agents.
Gosh, I forget how to build these decks.
The trouble with Cascade decks is staying under. Staying above.
Russell Notorious always talks about how he always thinks about putting Brainstorm in his Shardless Agent decks.
Yeah, and it's not an option. Man, this hand is also not very good.
I mean, Ancestral Vision does exist.
This is true. You could play Ancestrals and not play 4/4s.
I think 4/4s are probably better.
I don't think I go to 5. Alright, I'll keep it.
Alright, are you ready?
Not with this hand, but yeah, let's play.
Alright. Let's go with Inquisition here.
Bloodbraid, Lelia, Bone Crusher, Simian Spirit Guide, Incubation, 1 land again.
It's interesting. I'm going to take Simian Spirit Guide.
I think that's cool. It takes me off potentially getting to a Shardless.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll draw. I will play the Shivan Reef. Take a point. I'll Incubation.
Yep. Man, Incubation being green or blue is such a big
Very
thing in that deck.
Alright, I'll take a Shardless.
It's a good one.
Bottom in a random order. Go ahead.
I'll untap a swamp. I will draw a card for turn. Interesting draw. We're going to see what he's got going on.
Had a land. Would you like a Shardless Agent?
I'll take a Shardless Agent.
Yep. I gotta say, I'm not even really that excited about resolving Aurelia in this matchup.
It's pretty good.
It gets innocent blooded, man.
Unless he draws you cards, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is very relevant. But I will play a Shrieking Affliction.
Yeah, I'll read this one. I always forget.
Yeah, that one's if you have 1 or fewer cards, you take 3.
Yep, okay.
That's your go. I think I'm okay with you stomping my face.
Go ahead. I was just thinking I might stop your face. It does. I will say that gets the Bone Crusher Giant out of my hand, which is kind of awkward.
Yes, it is awkward. But also, it's also kind of nice, right? Because it dodges discard. So that's in your hand.
Yeah, it's really...
Stomping me in response to Inquisition, so I can't take it. It's probably fine. I will play a Swamp. We'll cling your Incubation and draw a card.
Yeah, you'll draw a card. Man, mainboard Cling, it's just fine.
Yeah, we just play one. We have a couple more on the board for the matchups that's relevant.
Yeah.
And we're going to play 2 more of these.
All right, I'm going to try not to be affected by that.
I'll pass the turn.
I'll take a pain. I will stomp you.
Yep, I'll take 2.
Yep, Bone Crusher goes into Adventure Town or wherever.
Adventure Town.
Draw.
Is that a kid's TV show?
Adventure Time.
I see.
Land.
It's not a bad one.
I could Lelia, but I think I want to save Lelia for post
I
Innocent
think you
Blood.
play
And Lelia's in my hand right now, which matters.
Yeah, I think you play that.
So I'll play Bony Boy.
Sure.
You can go ahead. It's crazy that this card is like 22 cents or
Yeah, that
whatever.
card is one of the best mid-range cards I think you can play in this format.
I think this will be the first time I've mentioned it, but for the viewers, Chris put together a really interesting Blue-Red Giants list for a tournament we
I
played.
love that deck. It did very well, actually. Didn't it get like 3rd or something? So I actually had to leave the last round, but someone hopped in and played my deck for me. I think I
played
got 3rd. There's still a Mystic Remora somewhere out there that I think Corey still has it. I'm supposed to get from that form. I'm not even blackmail you. Which doesn't say you reveal 3 cards from your hand, I get to pick 1.
I love that I don't have to think about it. Dude, you might take land.
I'm really thinking about land.
Take land, coward. I'm reading this. I know you just organized it, but 1 or fewer. Okay. I don't know, man.
It's a hard one.
There's no tap lands in the deck,
Here's the
so
thing.
if I hit a
If I
land...
leave Proportion Forest and I take Lelio, you're most likely going to play land, break Bloodbraid Elf, which puts you on a very fast clock.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome.
Um,
And if you leave Lelia, I'm going to play Lelia and I can hit a land.
I'm going to take this.
No, I think that makes sense.
Good. And
There's a
it's fun.
chance
I think it's
I'm
close.
not supposed to Bloodbraid here.
Yeah, you have a 4-3 in play. I think you attack me until I do something other else.
I will attack you. Or hold, let me think, because I may want to Bloodbraid. So if I do this, that's signing up for 9 damage. But you're going to 14, or really, if I do this, you'd be going to 11. You have 1 card in your hand. So you're going to 11. If I hit...
This is a 2-turn clock if you have 1 in your hand. So do you think you can kill me faster? But you also could Bloodbraid into a haste threat, and then I'm taking 10. But
I could Bloodbraid into Lelia, yeah.
So
But if I Bloodbraid into Shardless into Footfalls...
I'm done next turn. So
is that right?
I think
you're taking 7 this turn, you're going to 11, and then I have 7 plus... I think I'm going to do it.
But the only thing about this play is you are playing into a Bantu who's really heavy.
Oh, that's interesting.
But if you think you can't beat a Bantus anyway, then it's really,
Alright, I'm going to take
6
some
on
4.
hand. Yeah, 14.
Go ahead.
I will say I also think I agree with that play.
This?
Yeah.
Draw. Because also,
Yeah.
just leaving cards in hand makes it really hard for me to win the game.
You kind of have to find a Hymn to Turok to get me down, I think.
Play a Swamp.
It's interesting. I wonder if you hold that for Raven's Crime.
I haven't seen a Raven's Crime yet. Also, I want to get enough lands for Cling, even though
Oh,
I don't have cards
yeah.
in a graveyard yet.
Yeah,
so,
afraid of coming back. Okay.
I'll pass.
Yeah, hold on top. I'll
I
draw.
think I'm going to lose the game.
I think you might. So if I do this, and then you have a discard spell, I'd go to 1, but at that point, is it fine?
Yeah, I think at this point you're putting me...
Because I'm not even in a 2-turn clock, so...
Yeah, so if you play this, it's a 2-turn
Forest.
clock as is.
Take a pain. Bloodbraid, I'd like to
Yep.
Cascade.
Sure.
Lelia,
That's
that's
great.
fine. Combat, trigger,
Trigger exile.
Bloodbraid. That would have been a heater off the top.
Okay, so I'm taking
3, 6, 10.
10. I'll go to 4.
I've got 2 cards in my hand.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Roll a card. Swamp, do it. You got that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunate draw there, but
Yeah, I really needed to hit either a small Cox and Edict or even like a Hymn to Turok, what I think would have done it that game. So I definitely had some outs I could have drew to really put that game away, but just all your cards are 12 power in that deck somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really brutal that, like, if this deck's operating at its best, it's doing Shardless plus 4/4 plus 4/4.
Exactly.
And, like, Edict looks so weak against that. There's no Proxy Bonds who's got you.
Yeah, so in this, obviously, I'm going to bring in my 3rd and 4th Bantu's Last Reckoning, which is black, 1 black, destroy all creatures, but my lands don't untap. That's a little ahead of rate, obviously. Otherwise, I don't have a lot for him. Like, Delirium Schemes, he kind of empties his hand pretty quick. Duresses doesn't hit a whole bunch. Ravensman, my birds don't block. Andy Plant runs Fire Ices, and they're X1s, and so are my Asylum Visitors. And Clings really don't do anything against them, so I guess we're just going with Bantus.
I think Delirium Schemes is maybe okay on
I
that.
actually think so too,
Think
because
so?
I think you maybe just take out Edicts. You have 4 of the Innocent Bloods. Maybe you just keep small
I think I
Bantus.
want all the removal spells I can get, because even his individual creatures are big.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I mean, we'll take a look. I mean, if there's things that I think to come up with, like, obviously this is coming out. I don't think the card matters at all.
Yeah, and I mean,
I think that Davriels are not good in this matchup just because they get attacked and die.
yeah, and I think one thing you and I talked about when we were testing at a shop a while ago, the Rhinos deck has a ton of reach and hasty threats.
Correct.
Lelias, Blood Braids, Stomps, Fires. Like, you can kind of just burn people out even once they think they stabilize. So.
I was gonna say maybe the trim a Davriel or two because it's just a little bit slow and
Yeah,
kind of
plus,
dying
like,
before it matters.
Like, it only has 3 loyalties, so it's like a real easy to attack. So, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
if we're working out, well, I mean, at least do these. I don't think, maybe a Davriel is better than anything else I got on the board. I guess I could probably keep a Collective Brutality in. I mean, it does fine. It kills a 2/2, which is literally just Charlotte's Agent.
Yeah.
But it only duresses.
It does hit Bloodbraid Elf. That's a 3/2, right?
It
Yeah.
does, sir.
I don't like
it. drains for 2, but I don't think I'm really escalating it, so I think this is worse. I think we'll probably keep a Davriel in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough matchup.
Which I think Rhinos runs it back. I don't think you do anything.
No, I've got Pyrokinesis and Wrath Traps. I'm not doing either of that against
So it
you.
doesn't really matter.
So.
We'll be able to play, and I do have 4 Wraths now, so I mean,
Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to be cognizant of those.
yeah, I mean, your deck kind of plays with the board pretty heavy. It doesn't actually have any, like, actual card advantage to the hand. Obviously, card advantage to the board is very good.
Well, you know, there are hieroglyphics in here
Yeah,
too.
there
which,
are. I mean, going up 1 card, you know, isn't usually the worst for me, but obviously it is good still.
Yeah, there's sometimes. I mean, like, 4 mana to +1 card is not great, but
Right.
the hieroglyphic, honestly, it seems like they're just like.
One thing real well
Just
with
keep the deck
hieroglyphics
efficient.
too is that it doesn't get taken early game, which I guess a lot of your stuff doesn't because they're half cards.
Yeah, because we're.
Inquisition's not very good against you,
No, Inquisition's active.
but it hits very good cards. So it's like it hits
What it
like
does hit is
hits
very
Shardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hits Shardless, even Simians to kind of slow you down sometimes. But
Yeah, I mean, I think you took that semi in that game, and I think it was good.
yeah, I mean, I think I did everything I could have done that game. It
You
just
just drew 6 swamps.
yeah, I just
Yeah, you should draw a little better, probably.
That sounds great. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm on the play.
I'll try this one as well.
Can't really ask for anything more. Okay.
Good luck, man. I hope you can keep me from my first win on this channel.
Blackmail. I'm gonna show me 3. And relevant, I can take lands.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's cool. I like it a lot.
I love when they only have 3 cards in hand and I take a land.
Huh.
Which obviously blackmail's not the ideal tournament play, but you play it when you can.
Yeah, we're gonna go hieroglyphic, incubation, fire.
I'm gonna take incubation just in. I can't. Yeah, I can't. It does. This isn't.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm gonna take this just in case you don't have your short list yet.
Okay.
Here you go.
Completion Forest, make a green incubation.
It's a good one. I'd have taken that if I could have.
Take a Lelia.
I think that's good for me.
Yeah, Lelia doesn't feel like the strongest threat. There was a Sky Turtle as well, and I kind of thought about taking it. Go
It
ahead.
doesn't bounce only creatures, right?
Yeah,
It does
just-
buy back things though, which is relevant.
Yeah, it's just kind of slow. Sky Turtle's
Cards
one
in
of my
hand?
favorites. 6. You know 3 of them. You don't
Okay,
know 3 of them.
First till 3.
I know. Yeah. Do you prefer that I play open?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to him to Turok you. So now
Yeah. Do you want to roll? This is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
you can just shuffle them. What's the big deal?
Okay.
Shuffle them and I'll pick.
Yep. I love resolving him to Turox.
Oh,
Like,
I love it.
I feel like it says a ton about a player how they want to resolve it. Like, do you roll dice for it? Do you like me to do? You know what I mean?
I think I'm notoriously good at gambles, and these are similar, but obviously
You are pretty good at pulling gambles. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't seem the best for
That
me.
was 2 known cards, and you still know hieroglyphic.
Yeah, you're good.
Huh.
Thank you.
Interesting. We'll say this hand does have a minor issue.
I would have liked to hit some lands. To be
I'm
honest
gonna
with
play
you.
one. I'm gonna take a pain. I don't really know how I feel about this, but I'll suspend.
I think that's correct. It's inevitable threats. It's a lot of power.
Yeah, and we don't have endurances to shuffle them, so like, I might need all of them since you're on 4 Montus.
You have 3 cards, correct?
Yeah, one's hieroglyphic. I'm just gonna pick it up.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna hem you again.
Okay, yeah. So this is where it's starting to get like kind of clunky.
Yeah, so notoriously I'm not hitting my land drops though. We'll take these 2.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'll be done.
We're starting to see what the problem is.
Whose problem?
Yours. Not having blue mana in the same.
Maybe. That was somehow perhaps one of the best draws in my deck. Huh. I guess I'm just going to do it. I thought about waiting a turn to get them off cycle with each other, but I think I'm just going to do... I don't know, is that playing into a Hem or into a... It really plays into a Bontus. Go ahead. But holding it plays into a Hem's Duroc, and...
You have one card.
I do.
We'll take it. Blackmail.
Yeah, you get my Shardless.
Okay. And then we'll play a Shrieking Affliction.
Yeah.
There's a clock.
Okay.
Pass, you take 3 upkeep, you'll have these and that.
I think I'm losing this one. I'll keep it, go ahead. It's so weird playing a Shrieking Affliction when you're Hellbent.
That's interesting. Gabriel, we'll get your last card.
Yeah, maybe I should just play it.
I'll pass, you'll take 5.
Yeah.
Just take down.
Yeah. Draw. So you're just gonna Davriel me?
That's the idea.
I dropped that.
You have a Stomp. Stomp is pretty solid.
No, I have basic mountain.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Draw.
This game did not shape up.
Rack.
Yeah.
Pass. You take 8.
I think I'm just dead, right? Yeah, probably just dead. Yeah, okay, you got it. So one thing I was thinking about too, oh yeah, yikes. And this is kind of a broad moral question for these Cascade decks. Do you ever sideboard cards that are good enough you're okay cascading into them? Like, do you ever bring in a 2-drop and you're just like, okay to Shardless into it? I think I'm kind of against that plan.
I think I'd probably bring him to 3s and be okay with just going into like Bloodbraid.
Yeah, but don't bring in something that's
Yeah,
less
I think you want your Shardless to do one thing.
I agree.
I've also thought about boarding, what is the blue one that takes a creature out of your opponent's deck?
The bribery.
The bribery one.
Inevitable betrayal.
Nice.
Like, I think having that in your board, I've played against some of the Druid decks, some Reanimator decks, like being able to just take their Storm Tide Leviathan out of their deck and having it for yourself, I think it's a huge deal.
Doug is a crazy person.
Doug's awesome. I love Doug. He's a great
Yeah.
Magic player also.
I want to get him over here to just talk about the format.
Which might hurt.
Yeah, I'm hoping that... I'm really hoping that being on the play for Game 3, I can get a win.
It should. Especially if you can keep a solid 7, I think I'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Especially on the draw.
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like one of your worst matchups, which is kind of crazy, because it's definitely winnable on the rack side.
Yeah, which is just huge. I'm trying to think of other decks in the format that really kind of hate me out, maybe.
What did we decide the rack
Slaughterknock?
Yeah, I was going to say the rack versus force.
Oh, that seems hard.
I remember we played that, and I think you won more than a person might expect.
Yeah. I've thought about fitting some number of Plague Engineers in my board if I can.
I think you should.
That card's very strong. It's also just blocks, has Death Touch.
It's also fairly cheap. I think a playset's like $279 or something.
Yeah, that's not bad. I haven't looked at the list in a minute, so I have to see how much budget I have.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
6, 7. Keep it.
I am also going to keep it.
Sure. Take us away.
Car, Police and Force, go ahead.
Draw. Okay, we'll take that draw every day of the week. I'll make you discard a card of your choice. That's fun. I'm giving you the choice.
I'll do a turtle.
Go ahead.
Seems like a little bit of a slow one, so probably a fair card to pitch.
Yeah. I'll play a mountain, go ahead. This is a slow hand, but it felt like it was safer than mulliganing.
This.
Yep. You're pretty good at picking them.
I like picking them. One of my favorites. I'm hoping for a blue land and a Shardless Agent.
Oh.
Or 2 Shardless Agents work too.
Yikes.
Okay.
I'm done. There's the other third one.
I thought keeping 2 Shardless Agents was like pretty safe.
Yeah, I agree.
Huh. Dude, I think I'm cursed on this show. I really,
you might just have.
I really am like. It's making me like reconsider like my evaluation of myself as a Magic player. Go ahead. I really wish I was joking more. It's been hard, man.
Card 3.
3.
There, we're gonna blackmail you.
I show you 3 and you take them.
We'll take 1.
Ugh. I don't know. There's like not a thing to do. And I think you have to take the turtle.
I'll take a turtle.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take the last 2 cards as well.
I don't even have. I can't. Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let's do this. I'll pass. One cares about 1 or less. The other one is 3 minus the cards in your hand.
Yeah. That's hard. Yeah, I'm gonna untap. How much should I take?
5.
Okay, I'll draw.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Draw. Play this land. I like to hem you.
I'll stomp you.
I'll take 2.
I'll pitch a mountain.
I'll pass. You'll take 6.
Okay. I guess I'll cast him.
Sure.
Go ahead. I thought this hand was really reasonable.
I'm gonna innocent blood you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna Raven scram you.
Did I take 6?
Attack you for 2.
Good at 1?
Yep. Good.
Yep. You got it, I guess.
Wow.
Like, was that hand not a keep? We can review it.
Well,
but...
my hand was actually absurd. I mean, I had turn 1 removal, turn 1 discard into 3 hems and 2 pieces that kill you. And I also hemmed both your Stardust agents on turn 2, which is insane.
Yeah, and I didn't find a blue, so it didn't matter. And maybe I need to review.
I really think we need to play a 3rd game to give this Rhinos list a original factor.
I don't know, man. I think we just.
Was that not game 3?
That was game 3. Yeah, he's saying a 4th game.
Oh, you did 1 game, didn't you?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay.
I think that data point would make me sad. I think we just say that we did the thing, and that was a pretty cracked draw from the rack, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was real good. That was some good RNG when they got both. Because here's the thing: if you resolve 1 Stardust agent, I think I'm in trouble. Like I think we race, but I think we're in trouble.
How many? I would have to look at the list. How many blue sources are there?
I was
It's
kind of thinking
4
the same thing.
Shivan Reefs, 3 Yavimaya, and 2 Island or something. Is that right?
Hold on.
Should we go back to thinking about search for tomorrow?
Yeah, so it's 2 Island, 3.
Who's ever played that?
He was
I've
suggesting it.
floated it a few times as only a mildly serious suggestion, but it just seems like it fixes a lot of problems.
Could be really good in this.
Is
It lets,
our,
it lets you turn 3 Blood Braid, even if that's. the
Yeah,
turn
I
you're
think
on.
it's a little slow. I don't want to blood braid into a search for tomorrow, personally.
It's 4, I thought.
No,
it's 3.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Is our
right.
mana base the same, by the way?
Yeah, I skipped your list for this.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna put about 1.
Oh, and then I added pyrokinesis, and then I made fun of you in the video for not having that.
3,
Man.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, it should be 4 and 3 and 2, so it should be 9. 9's not that low.
9. I have 10.
Oh, maybe there's something wrong with this.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, I guess that's our data point for the rack.